What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, shout out to my brother Champside, man. I was listening to his show yesterday, and many people hit me up. I actually commented in the comment section. I was trying to get on. He had a dude on there. I think his name was John or something of that magnitude. People be making up stories, man. I wanted to come on and confront this dude. This is why one of the reasons why I stopped going live, man. Boxing is filled with a bunch of moronic people that emotionally can make up whatever they want. You know, in the land of the dead, making up stuff about the land of the living, right? With that said, and I meant it that way, the land of the dead making up stuff about the land of the living, right? So Champside was talking about Terence Crawford rant and the comments Terence Bud Crawford made about JARON Ennis. I have drained this well dry about what took place. You cannot rewrite history. It's not about what you feel. Women feel. Women do things off of feelings. Men do things off of reality, right? It's not about how you feel. I don't care how you feel. What you feel, your feelings don't have nothing to do with the facts. That's women. That's a female trait. Women do things off of how they feel. How you make them feel. That's how they make decisions, based off of how they made to feel. Men don't do things. So it's not about what you feel. It's about the facts. Terence Crawford made the comment yesterday that y'all wanted me to fight JARON Ennis early in his career and end his career because that's what would have happened. Y'all don't even like this dude. So what he's saying is, you don't have, Terence Crawford has a lot of detractors like Devin Haney. And so people, because Errol Spence has a big fan base that supports him, and when you're going through the whole situation with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, right? People have disdain for Terence Crawford. And it just kept growing and growing and growing, right? It just didn't stop. So with that said, okay, after Terence Crawford beat Errol Spence, people want to see him lose. So they started throwing JARON Ennis' name in the hat. I've been a fan of JARON Ennis forever. Been calling him a phenom. I said that way back before Terence Crawford even fought Errol Spence. I said he has all the traits of both fighters and none of the weaknesses. I used to say that all the time. And as time went on, Terence Crawford separated himself. I could see the difference between Terence Crawford and JARON Ennis until JARON Ennis proves himself, right? Now, I told you guys, and I have been confirmed to whoever this dude is, John on Champside. I was trying to get the link to come on there to confront this dude. You dudes be making up stories with my name in it because of your feelings, right? So here this dude John says, oh, Blue Blood switched up. I ain't switch up on nobody. What are you talking about? Stop lying on me, man. You dudes is weird, bro. This is why I had to stop, man. Mentally, it just, y'all are anchor. I ain't switch up on nobody. What are you talking about? Oh, you switched up on, when before Blue Blood switched up on JARON Ennis. I didn't switch up on JARON Ennis, you not so smart guy. I was the one who pushed for Terence Crawford to fight JARON Ennis. I was the one that went to the table and said, after the David Avanesian fight, which I orchestrated as well, After the David Avanesian fight, Terence Crawford went into negotiations with Errol Spence. Terence Crawford then felt like the negotiations was going nowhere because Al Heyman didn't want to make the fight as Errol Spence confirmed. That has been confirmed. The PBC didn't want to make Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. So Terence Crawford said, let me stay busy. He was shopping his services. He already worked with BLK Prime. So he said, okay, I'll give y'all another opportunity to put me in a big fight. But he wants the biggest fights. So, as everybody at BLK Prime can tell you, I went to the table and I said, hey man, after he beat David Avanesian in the fight that everybody wanted to see is him and Errol Spence. That fell through. The next best thing for Terence Crawford at this stage in his career would be to fight JARON Boots Ennis. They was talking about trying to get the Manny Pacquiao fight, Keith Thurman fight. I was the one that said and suggested JARON Boots Ennis. I lobbied for JARON Ennis to get the fight with Terence Crawford and get his opportunity for both guys and for the fans, you not so smart people. And so it was asked to me, okay, we're going to take it to Terence Crawford. Took it to Terence Crawford. I told y'all. Terence Crawford said, I don't care about fighting JARON Boots Ennis. Because when I suggested it, everybody at the table was saying, hey, do you think Terence Crawford going to take that fight? That's a high risk, low reward fight. And I said, Terence Crawford is a dog. Take it to him. And we took it to Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford said, I don't care about fighting JARON Boots Ennis. I told you this. When you tell the truth, you only got, the story don't change. I told y'all this 1,000 times, and I'm going to say it for the very last time. Terence Crawford said, he ain't never seen nothing like me. I'm not worrying about him. People compare the two. We ain't nothing alike. I'm levels above him. Make it happen. And this has been confirmed. I called Bozy. Bozy, father and trainer of JARON Ennis. He already confirmed what I said. Bozy confirmed. Yes, Blue Blood did try to make it happen. Not to mention, Steven Espinosa already confirmed. And I told you what took place. Steven Espinosa, who JARON Ennis was signed to Showtime, and Steven Espinosa, not PBC. Steven Espinosa simply told us he don't want to step on Al Heyman toes and Errol Spence toes to make a JARON Ennis fight with Terence Crawford because they want to make the Terence Crawford fight. And he don't want to be the reason why Terence Crawford and Errol Spence don't happen. And he putting on a fight with his fighter, JARON Ennis, because it's going to look bad for his business. I told y'all that. And when Steven Espinosa did an interview, I believe with KO Artist Sports, if I'm not mistaken, and Steven Espinosa said, at the end of the day, I didn't want to step on Errol Spence and Al Heyman toes. He told you in a video. He told you that after I told you, that's what he said. So Steven Espinosa confirmed what I told you, and so did Bozy. But yet, you not so smart people is running around pushing narratives that about your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. And so y'all run around talking about, oh man, Terence Crawford hating on JARON Ennis, man. Talking about he gave him. Then this dude said he gave him the opportunity to win. Well, JARON Ennis could have pushed for to be the mandatory for the WBO. He opted to go the IBF route. They also, JARON Ennis and Bozy confirmed that. Because Errol Spence had 3 belts and they affiliated with the PBC and Showtime. So they opted to go the IBF route and make themselves the mandatory for Errol Spence instead of making themselves the mandatory for Terence Crawford, who had less options. Terence Crawford had less options. So it's more likely that Terence Crawford would fight JARON Ennis if he pushed for the mandatory than Errol Spence, who had options. And Steven Espinosa ain't trying to step on Al Heyman and Errol Spence toes, so they ain't going to push for Errol Spence to be stripped? I told you guys this. So that's 2 opportunities. I'm not blaming Jaron Boots Ennis, because the bigger fight financially at that time was going to be Errol Spence. And it made sense since they was on the same side of the street, quote unquote, and Errol Spence had 3 belts. More money, 3 belts, and on the same side of the street. Path of least resistance as far as business goes. So I understand that. Right? But we can't say Terence Crawford is at fault. And I told you guys, Terence Crawford said, make it happen. And Steven Espinosa simply told us he did not want to make it happen. He gave us every rhyme and reason and excuse in the book as to why it wasn't going to happen. And I have proof of that. He said there was no dates and no slots, and that they were the bigger promotional company, and that they controlled everything, but Terence Crawford is the A side. They wanted to control the money. I told you guys this. Now, when JARON recently did the interview, said he would stop Terence Crawford responded to that. I seen people talking about in my inbox, yeah, man, see, Terence Crawford was trying to buy time. Terence Crawford negotiating with JARON was just a smokescreen just to get Al Heyman and the PBC to give him more money. No, it was not. No, it wasn't. Why wasn't it? Because Al Heyman did not want to make the fight at all with Terence Crawford. Yes, Terence Crawford, y'all asking me, well, Champside said he had a hedge fund. Yes, it was Turki Al-Sheikh. His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh. Now y'all already know the truth, so I can say it. And Turki Al-Sheikh, you see the money he's putting up. So he was willing to put the money up for Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And Errol Spence did not want to go that route due to his loyalty to Al Heyman. How many times I got to tell y'all this, man? So y'all sending me stuff, man, Terence Crawford hating on JARON. No, he simply said, he said the same thing JARON said. What's wrong with y'all, man? Just because you hate Terence Crawford, it's just this nasty work, bruh. And then to throw me in it, yeah, could Blue Blood switch sides? No, I didn't switch sides. The same thing JARON said. Oh man, I'm picking on him. I'm switch side. How? I'm the damn one that lobbied for him to get the fight and put it into any type of reality. When he was fighting Thomas DeLorme and all types of Custio Clayton, I am the one that said JARON Boots Ennis. I banged the table for Terence Crawford to fight JARON Ennis. Me. For you, the fans that are ungrateful and not very smart, it's diabolical, man. I was the one that tried to put it in motion when Terence Crawford was like, hey, it ain't happening. Let me see what y'all can do. I said JARON Ennis. Everybody else at the table was talking about Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman and you know, Danny Garcia. I said JARON Boots Ennis. They was talking about the commercial names. Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, so on and so forth. Even had offers to Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao. It's a true story. But I said JARON Boots Ennis should be the one that gets the opportunity. Let's do that. And I said that would be better for Terence Crawford's image, seeing as though he got a lot of bad rap for fighting David Avanesian. And I said if Terence Crawford should fight JARON Boots Ennis, that will justify not fighting. If you're not gonna fight Errol Spence and you fight JARON Boots Ennis, the fans is gonna appreciate that and accept that. And this is the thanks I get. You dudes running around trying to throw mud on my name. It's diabolical, bruh. Boxing is nasty work. You people are not very bright, right? The lowest IQ of all fans in all sports. You running around placing blame on Terence Crawford, hating on JARON Ennis. JARON Ennis just did an interview and was asked about Terence Crawford and said I would stop Terence Crawford. Now Terence Crawford responds and says I would have ended his career. Now Terence Crawford is a black man hating on another black man. You dudes are weak, bro. I can't stand. I'm starting to truly dislike boxing, man. It's getting to the point where y'all take the fun out of it, man. It's just a clown show. Hey, man, yeah, Terence Crawford was buying time to get the PBC to give him more money. No, he was not. Everything was dead in the water. Let me tell you what happened. Stephen Espinosa went back and said, listen, Terence Crawford about to move on. And if y'all don't do something about it, he gonna leave. That's what was happening. And he was on his way out. He was going to fight JARON Ennis. He was willing to make the fight happen. And I got proof of that. JARON Ennis, and Stephen Espinosa, JARON Ennis, up until the point he signed to the zone, he wasn't even fully aware of what took place. But was mad at me. This is crazy work, bro. How you mad at me for lobbying for you to get that fight? It's crazy work, bro. And that's all I got for y'all, man. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.